Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
Thank you for your awesome support on Patreon, the Alpha Kenny Body Slam. Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Midweek Mecha News. Merry Christmas, jingle bells. I am Luke Owen. Give this video a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, and support WrestleTalk. We're going to kick things off today talking about numbers, which I know you all love, because this is the Christmas season, and the Christmas season means you will love business. 2019 has not been the best year for WWE in terms of their TV ratings. While it's had its ups and downs, it's had more downs than ups. The truth is, the 3-hour format of Raw may have improved the lining of the pockets of the McMahon family, but it has hampered the show's watchability. Looking back at Raw's ratings from 10 years ago, which terrifyingly isn't 1999 and is actually 2009, I'm so old I'm going to die soon, Raw was bringing in over 4 million viewers on a weekly basis, which, amazingly in hindsight, was considered bad because they'd previously been drawing way more. And if you want to argue that going back to 2009 is too far, then the average viewership of Raw in 2017 was 3 million. This week's episode of Raw, which saw Viking Raiders take on the OC, a gauntlet match for a new #1 contender to Rey Mysterio, AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, a main event anywhere in the world, and the fallout of Seth Rollins' heel turn, drew the lowest non-holiday rating for an episode of Raw in history, with an average of just over 2 million viewers. And this comes just 1 year removed from when the McMahons came out on TV to say,
"We're sorry." Sorry.
An episode which drew 2.1 million viewers. Maybe we need more superstar shakeups, NXT call-ups, Raw reunions, new titles, and wildcards. That should fix everything. What's worrying is that this episode also came 24 hours after a pay-per-view, which historically means Raw gets a bump in the ratings as there's something people want to see a follow-up to. But that wasn't the case here. The show starting with 2.20 million viewers suggests that there was little interest coming out of TLC. The previous all-time low for Raw happened just 1 month ago on November 11th, when the show went up against the NFL touchdown tussle of the San Francisco 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks, which drew nearly 16 million viewers. This week's Raw was up against the Saints versus the Colts in a battle of the balls, which drew 11 million viewers. So the usual football excuse can't be used here. The final hour of this week's Raw dropped below the 2 million mark, drawing 1.86 million viewers for the main event of Styles versus Orton, Asuka versus Deonna Purrazzo, and Becky Lynch's interview. And all this news comes off the back of TLC tickets not selling like hotcakes, with Wrestling Inc. reporting there were around 9,000 people in attendance for a building that's usually set up for 19,000. And as we previously discussed here on the WrestleTalk News, this was partly by design, with WWE not announcing any matches for the show until the week of, with the penultimate episode of SmackDown announcing Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin and Bray Wyatt versus The Miz, and the go-home edition of Raw added Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair versus Kabuki Warriors, Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy, and Rusev versus Bobby Lashley. The WWE mindset, according to several reports, is that WWE Network subscriptions see an increase on the days leading up to the show. So the idea is to announce all the matches as late as possible to increase that number, which may be a successful tactic, but it seemingly also hurts live ticket sales. Thankfully for WWE, we're about to head into Royal Rumble season, which means we're also heading into WrestleMania season, and that historically does see a bump in viewership as interest in the product comes back again. One of the saddest stories of 2019 was the lack of use of Luke Harper in WWE. After publicly complaining about his lack of push in WWE and asking for his release after WrestleMania, Harper was only brought back one time outside of Battle Royals, where he teamed with Eric Rowan to take on Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, where it was quite clear he was only there to be the fall guy. While it was rumored he'd be with the company until the summer of 2020, due to his contract being extended from an injury he suffered in 2018, Harper trademarked his old indie name of Brodie Lee and was granted his release from WWE on the 8th of December. You know what that means? It means that Cody Rhodes is going to talk about working with someone openly in the hopes they join his promotion. It worked so well for their relationship with CM Punk. In fairness to Cody, he was questioned specifically about Brodie Lee by TalkSport's Alex McCarthy, with Cody saying he would be great as part of AEW. He's a name that when you hear they've asked for their release, you definitely think about that and the next steps for sure. I think he's going to flourish with what he does next. He's very special. Brodie Lee to AEW confirmed. It's been reported that Harper has a 90-day non-compete clause, like everyone does who leaves WWE, and therefore won't be able to join AEW if he does until March next year. Or he could just pull a Sin Cara and do whatever the F you like. Interestingly though, Mike Johnson of PW Insider is reporting that Sin Cara, who is now going by the name Cinta de Oro, which I've undoubtedly said wrong because I'm an idiot, has been telling people booking him that he doesn't have a 90-day non-compete clause, which is why he was allowed to head straight to AAA following his release from WWE. If the former Sin Cara is telling the truth, that means that Lee wouldn't have to wait until the new year to join AEW if he wants to, or even show up at New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom in January 2020. However, it should be noted that the other two men released on the same day as Harper and Hunico, former NXT Tag Team Champions The Ascension, have booked their first dates outside of WWE, and they are in March next year. Connor and Victor were announced for a meet and greet at WrestleFest 2 on March 8th, and their first non-WWE match will take place on March 21st for Extreme Wrestling Alliance in what is being billed as a SmackDown rematch. So either March is the time that Lee will be a free bird to do what he wants, or the former Sin Cara is on the level and he's free to go anywhere now. But bear in mind that Sin Cara is also showing up in AAA wearing a mask and using a name that's trademarked by WWE. So that would lead me to believe that Lee is probably tied up until next year. Where would you like to see Brodie Lee end up? Let me know in the comments down below because I'll be replying to as many as I can from my desk where I do my work. Someone who isn't tied up in all that legal jargon, however, is Marty Scurll. It was reported that the leader of Villain Enterprises was set to leave Ring of Honor when his contract ended at the end of November. Through a handshake agreement, Scurll agreed to work one more show for the promotion, where he teamed with Flip Gordon to take on Bandito and Flamita at Final Battle. And then the following night appeared at the end of NWA's Into the Fire pay-per-view, setting up a feud with World Champion Nick Aldis, which was continued on last night's episode of Power. Rovert had reported on Twitter that ROH were offering insane deals to get Scurll to stay, while Dave Meltzer reported that he was likely heading to All Elite Wrestling to join his former Bullet Club cohort. When asked about Scurll debuting for NWA over the weekend, AEW's Cody Rhodes seemingly told Alex McCarthy that it was just a phase that won't last forever. Marty is going to do what Marty is going to do. We all love Marty. Anything he does in the next few weeks or months, I wouldn't look at it as permanent for him. He's very much testing the waters here and there, and that's pretty much all I can say on Marty. Marty Scurll to AEW confirmed. And that's not all that is seemingly confirmed. AEW has grown massively since their launch at the start of the year, selling out pay-per-views like Double or Nothing and All Out, launching a YouTube series called Dark, and exceeding TV ratings on TNT with Dynamite. And according to Cody, next year we'll see a global expansion as All Elite Wrestling will be coming to the United Kingdom. Cody told Alex McCarthy, "We're coming to the UK in 2020 and we've got some tentative dates circled. But it's a matter of where you're going to hit. Are we going to hit as many markets as possible, or are you just going to do London and Manchester? I can't be sure if we're coming for Dynamite, a pay-per-view, or a rare live event tour, but everyone is on board with us coming in 2020, and if I'm incorrect with that statement, I'll give you $500. Not sure about that one, Cody. With our current exchange rate, that's probably about £2. AEW to the UK confirmed, though. Speaking of things yet to be confirmed, however, and there still hasn't been official word on the severity of the injury suffered by Kairi Sane during the TLC main event of Kabuki Warriors versus Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. Oof, that was a wild and rough change of gear there. The initial report suggested that Sane suffered a concussion during an early portion of the match, likely from an explosive suplex into the guardrail by Flair. Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported that Sane was kept away from ringside during Asuka's match against Deonna Purrazzo on Raw as a precaution, and he's now reporting the Pirate Princess has been removed from upcoming live shows. Although Sane tweeted that she was doing fine, Mike Johnson is reporting that Madison Square Garden were informed by WWE that the women's tag champ will not be wrestling on the post-Christmas show. PW Insider say that WWE is acting out of caution. The originally advertised match was a TLC tag team rematch, only this time in a steel cage, but that's now been changed to a triple threat between Flair, Lynch, and Asuka. We here at WrestleTalk wish Kairi Sane the speediest of recoveries and hope it's nothing too serious. Another awkward gear change now, and I would personally like to extend a huge thank you to everyone that wished me a happy birthday over the weekend, where my family and I took in a sing-along screening of Muppet Christmas Carol. Scurll. A big thank you to Ollie Davis for buying me this most excellent clock, and to Randy Andy Datson who got me this.
Hey Luke, how's it going? Happy birthday. This is Tom Phillips from WWE. Your friend Andy is a very good friend. I hope I didn't miss your birthday. If it is, happy belated birthday. I hope you enjoyed TLC yesterday. I hope you've had a chance to watch Muppet Christmas Carol, because it's a great Christmas movie. You should absolutely check that out. The Muppets are awesome. I just want to let you know, I believe you can defeat Castlevania. I don't know what that is, but I believe in you, Luke. You can do it. Best of luck. Happy birthday.
Tom Phillips? We all know your name's Todd Phillips, mate. Todd Phillips to WrestleTalk confirmed. And Christmas has come early for our Patreon pledge hammers, as our 2.5-hour review of TLC 2011 has gone live for Patreon backers. The show features an excellent triple threat main event between CM Punk, Alberto Del Rio, and The Miz, Zack Ryder finally winning the United States Championship, and the slowest ladder match we've ever seen between Triple H and Kevin Nash. Yeah, that actually happened in 2011. Head on over to patreon.com/WrestleTalk for more information. Find out more about the backstage reactions to this year's TLC and the disastrous main event by clicking the video on screen right now, and find out who got their main roster debut on Raw by watching the latest WrestleTalk Live. Thank you for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon pledge hammers, some of which you can see scrolling their way into my stomach. I've been Luke Owen, and that was wrestling.